Well, happy Friday. It's a beautiful day here, a little bit on the cool and breezy side. I'm having a hard time seeing myself in the camera here. I had my surgery for my right eye on Monday, and so both eyes are working differently now because I'm normally nearsighted, and now this eye is farsighted. At night, I'm wearing this eye shield over this to protect it while I'm sleeping, and I put it on with this tape that they gave me at the hospital. And then I have these 3 drops that I have to put in 4 times a day for each drop, with wait 3 minutes, put the next drop in, do that 4 times a day with 3 drops. So that's for this rest of this week through Monday. Then I'm down to 2 drops twice a day. So that's what I've been doing for the eye. I noticed if I'm walking outside, the air bothers it. So I'm glad I have these glasses still that I'm wearing, because it blocks the wind from the glasses. And I also have cocoon glasses sunglasses that go over, and they have, the sides are so you can see out of them, but they're enclosed in the side. That helps a lot with a hood over my head. Kind of makes a micro environment to keep the eye free from wind and cold. So that's what I've been doing for eye health. I'm not doing my exercises, just doing walking. So what else have I been doing? Well, I just realized that my scrap basket is out of control. When I was organizing and moving things around, I found scraps that came from other people that had to be added to this and need to be processed. This whole I'm not even sure what is in here, this whole thing here. And then this is the accumulated scraps from different projects that I've been working on the last couple months. I need to process that. So I just actually set a timer and did about 15 minutes of scrap processing, cutting up some 108-inch strips into 2.5-inch strips, and then shorter strips with what I couldn't get out of that, and then some 8-inch blocks from this material. So I'm going to be setting the timer for 30 minutes a day. What I have to do is I need to have some self-discipline as far as stopping working on something, because I become obsessed with it, and then I just do that, and then I ignore the other projects that I want to be working on, and then they don't get worked on. So I need to do more timing myself to work on a project and then move on to another project for a little bit of time. So that's one of my goals for myself for the 2026, because there's a lot of projects that I want to do, and I'm going to try and break them up to where I might set myself a goal of either a time goal for like what I do with Beauty All Around, an hour a week, or so many blocks in a certain period of time, all depending on the project. And then adjust throughout the year to see what's working and what's not. So I started cutting up those scraps, and I'm actually watching a So Yeah YouTube video from the So Yeah shop, and he was talking about the tools in your sewing room and changing your rotary blade. And I was struggling cutting those strips. There was, you know how you have that one thread that doesn't cut, and it was like when you have a 108-inch strip, that is not pleasant, having that one thread all the way along there that doesn't cut. So this was my rotary blade, and I just changed the blade in this, and it did have, he was like, you need to clean it too. and it definitely had some cleaning to be done. I probably need to take some of the oil off of that. My strings are sticking, so I might need to clean that up a little bit more. But if you notice here, quite a couple years ago, I took all my rotary blades and I put a number on the back of them because I realized that I had no idea how much time had passed since the last time I did anything to that blade. So I wanted to be able to track. Actually, I can tell you, I started doing it in, let's see, 2023, April of 2023. I made this notebook. I took one of my notebooks. I love notebooks. I have lots of blank notebooks. So I have this notebook that I thought was good for quilting stuff. So I took this notebook, and I have a bunch of rotary blades in here. Five rotary blades that I'm tracking in here. Probably I need to add the Martinelli one that I got, the left hand. I don't have that in here yet. But anyway, this is rotary blade number 1. And I realized I changed it last in March of this year, which to me seems like, well, that seems like I just changed it. But apparently, well, this is the one that I use at my cutting table that I use all the time. This is the one that I use to cut up all the scraps all the time. So it gets used very much. And what I noticed was that the blade seems to be, or I shouldn't say it's lasting because I probably should have changed it a lot sooner. But I'm going between 7 to 8 months between changing, and maybe I need to do that a little bit more often. So I changed it with an Olfa 60 millimeter blade. So that's one of the things I just did. So change your rotary blades. When they start skipping those threads, you need to change it, because I also noticed I didn't have to press as hard, and I'm not supposed to be I'm not supposed to lift more than a gallon of milk. And if I feel my chest start pounding, I need to slow down with my walking, because I guess it puts pressure behind the eye, and they want this eye to set. So that's what I got to do, and that's going to be helping. So, and I do need to get those scraps cut up and processed into my scrap system. I did do some other stuff though this week. I showed you my panel that I got for the Lori Holt Zippy Bags 3, and I did the small pouches, and I had such a good time. And I think they get really good. So this is, I did a little bit of quilting on them. And on this one, I did a lining. I did a lining on all of them, actually. So as you notice, it's not finished on the inside. She doesn't have you finish it. She just has you zigzagging the edges. You don't see it. Most of I usually like to finish edges, but I went according to her instructions on her video tutorial. And she has this on the side here. She said this is handy if you wanted to like use one of those rings and have a bunch of these pouches on a ring hanging on the wall or something, or just hang this on the wall. But that's why she put this tab on it. So that's pretty cool. And all the fabrics that I used for the outside of this were part of the one panel, and you cut them apart for the bag. This is the second one that I made. And this has also that lining in it with the green dots. And then the fourth one this is the lining that I used for my stash, which is a pink lining. That's the front and that's the back. And then this one with the teapot. It's also the pink lining, front and back. So those were fun, and I had those cut out from before my surgery, so that's great. Got those done. I still have 4 large ones that I want to make. Not sure where that's going to go in the lineup. One of the other things that I wanted to do that I wasn't finding time for was getting ready for 2026. And part of my getting ready is setting up my systems for documenting my projects and tracking projects. So I was able to make my notebook where I put the documentation when I'm finally done with a project. I take pictures of it and all the notes and stuff that I made with the information about the project, I put in my project notebook. This is the one I have going for 2025. So you can see, the reason I started my first year with just a regular composition notebook, and the spine was struggling. So I decided to use get these wire planners, and this planner was one that I got really cheap, and it had calendars in the front. So I decided that I was going to use this. This is my second year using this, and I had gotten 2 the same year, so I can't find one like this anymore. But I track when I start a project on the calendar and when I finish a project, so then I can see for the month, you know, how much I've been doing. And for this was January, I had the carryover projects that I listed here that were started in 2024, and I didn't finish, or they got finished, hopefully, and they did, in 2025. So that's the calendar part of my documentation, and I want to continue doing that because I do like being able to go through and see, and like, which months am I able to work on projects more. And as you can see here, October has been pretty stagnant with getting things started or done. I've just been working on what I have, and there we have November and December, and then I have an index where I track the projects, the project number that I assigned it, or over here, project number, the page that it's on in my book here, the description of the project that whatever I titled it, and then my start date and done date. So this is what I've done so far this year, and then I had this in the fair, so I attached my blue ribbon. That was the Mexican stars. And then I just provide some documentation. And this one I had included the pattern in there. So this is my project notebook for being able to go in and see what I've been working on, the previous years. And then also for some stuff, I will provide myself with some dimensions. Like when I made my son a table topper, I had the size of his table, so I can go back and see what the size is, so I don't have to go back and measure. I already have his measurements. But this is fun, huh? I like being able to go back then and see what I made and see what I want to remake, and if I put any notes here as to what I want to change. This has been very, very helpful. So I want to continue doing this in 2026. So this is the notebook that I ended up buying on Amazon. It's just a regular notebook, but it has a nice hard cover. It has metal edges because I want it to be sturdy. It has a little folder in the front with this one. And I went and I just bought some cheap calendars that I'm starting this one off with the index on these sheets. So this is, I shouldn't be using more than these pages for projects for the year. If I do, I'll add it into the back probably. But that would be something, because I went through both my books and I was like, yeah, that's plenty of pages. Then I just used double-sided tape and taped these pages for each of the months in here. I had to buy 2 of the calendars because they were only $1.99 at our discount store. But what I failed to remember was that when I taped these in here, the back side of January is February, and then I would be taping it in here, and I would have February then. So I had bought 2. So I used the two of them so that I would have the months in here. So that cost $4 for the 2 calendars. But and then this book came with these tabs, and I used my brother label maker to make the months, and just used clear tape to go on top of them. And I did it so if I'm looking at it from the back side, I have it on the back side too. So this book is ready for 2026 projects. I will be, once I get at the end of 2025, I will, when start 2026, I'm going to be noting in here in January, probably in this part here, I will be making a note of the projects that I'm carrying over from previous years with the start date of that project. So I will know that. So that's one of the things that I've been working on. And then I also have a project sheet in my planner, and this is the planner that I take with me when I'm on trips. And I like to just have an overview of what I'm working on. So this is my master one for the year. So I started a new one for 2026. And what I'll do then is whatever I haven't finished in 2025, I'll put on the new 2026 sheet. So that will be documented. And then I have pages where I'm working on a project, and I will put notes on it and stuff. So if I'm traveling, I will take my project sheet with me, and I have a bunch of project sheets in here that I never even started, and I'm not going to do that next year. But like like this one, oh, that's the Evelyn. I never started that one either. Okay. This one is the coriander quilts, and I've been putting the information with when I do the blocks and stuff. So if whatever projects I'm working on when I go away, like to Pennsylvania for a couple weeks, like I'm down there for half a month, so I bring my sewing machine and projects. I bring the sheets along with me for this planner. This is my Bible. This has everything in it. This is my daily stuff in here too. Like this is what I'm working on for today. And I go for the week, what I need, and then I decide on what days I want to be working on that. So I'm a planner. It makes my brain work better when I have everything written down and I can check things off. It just is better for me. That's me. There are people who it drives crazy, but that's how I have to live. I've found what's the system that works best for me, and I'm going to stick with it. So one of the other things that I'm going to do this week, I'm going to be doing the 30 minutes a day of the cutting of the scraps. And that's going to take a little while, because this is a big basket of scraps, and it's packed. It's packed. But I also want to cut out my ICASES 2.0, which is going to be able to hold my iPad, because I want it to be in more of a protected case when I'm taking it places. So I want to get this done pronto. So that will be my next project, is to cut this out. And I still want to do an hour of beauty all around for this week, because we're on Friday. And I'm still like taking it easy this week. But that's my plans. So let me know what you have planned. And I am expecting the mega bag from Renaissance Ribbons. So I'll be coming back on to do that opening. So have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.